Morning, Steve here in Chicago with the morning grain comments. Well, not much of a turnaround today in the markets after the recent losses. We've got beans still down about 5 cents. Corn's unchanged, wheat's up about a penny. The outside markets, all the financial markets are lower. We started lower with the stocks in Asia, continued to be lower overnight. I think there's a little bit of concern that at least the Asian markets might be a little overbought. But here in the United States, we hear talk that the tax reform may be delayed until 2018, and some of the longs and the stock market are waiting for that to push company revenues up and also push the stock market higher. The continued talk by the Trump administration that they'd like to see a weaker dollar continues to offer resistance to the dollar, and there's still too much supply of crude oil in the United States to allow crude oil to rally much over the recent highs. USDA put out a lot of data yesterday, and they said that corn planting 6% done versus 12 last year and 9 average. So some of this wet weather is delaying corn plantings. We've got some rains right now in Minnesota and northwest Iowa that should drape across the Midwest tomorrow. And some people think by next Monday, 12% of the U.S. corn crop will be planted versus 28 last year and 18 average. Some agronomists feel that we need at least 50% of the crop planted by the first week in May, that in some locations corn yields start to decline if planted after that first week in May. We also noted that the USDA said about 13% of the spring wheat crop is planted versus 21 average, and that winter wheat crop was rated 54% good to excellent versus 53 last week and 57 last year. So the winter wheat crop is improving from the earlier starts. As far as weather-wise, globally, it's still dry in Western Europe and parts of Northern Africa. We have to kind of watch that pretty closely. And we'll just kind of see how much rain we get here in the Midwest. There is talk that the Brazilian crop, soybean crop, could be bigger than the 111 million tons that the USDA estimated in April, and that the Argentine crop could be just a tad smaller because of the wet weather. South American farmer continues to be a slow seller of the beans, but his percentage of selling, which in the northern part is around 60% versus 70 last year, is still probably the same amount of beans given the larger crop versus a year ago. Funds yesterday, sellers of beans, meal, oil, and wheat. They bought, they were sellers of beans, meal, corn, and wheat. They're buyers a small amount of oil. Malaysian palm oil prices are weaker. Some people think, though, that we've reached a target level that might reflect the ongoing talk that production may be up this year and that we might be near some key support. Open interest yesterday down in beans and corn, up in wheat, so we continue to see some liquidation of some recent longs in beans and corn, and adding to the shorts in the wheat markets. So again, choppy trade. We need to know a little bit more about the U.S. and Northern Hemisphere weather before we know if we're going lower or see some short covering rally. So we give us another couple weeks of this type of trade action before we actually decide which way we're going to go. As always, these are my thoughts and not those of ADM or ADM Investor Services, and have a safe and profitable trading day.